Grab That Dough is a really fun episode of The Golden Girls. This is the 16th episode of the 3rd season. It's directed by Terry Hughes, and as always, there will be spoilers from now as I go through the episode and share some thoughts. It was very slow to begin with. The first kind of, not quite 10 minutes, but it took maybe a good 7 or 8 minutes to get going. And Sophia comes into the kitchen and says that she has tickets for all of them to go to, or to be on a taping of this game show called Grab That Dough. It's not a real game show, I did look, but it looks tremendous fun. And it's honestly modelled on a pretty classic game show of this era. And they end up getting there. There are problems with their room. And honestly, all of this was padding. I feel like it wasn't that interesting. But then we get to the game show. And it's tremendous fun. And I will spoil what happens. So if you haven't seen it, do watch it before listening to me. And then come and share your thoughts if you like. Blanche suggests that she and Dorothy team up with 2 other people so that they have a better chance of winning rather than the 4 girls playing against another team. And they're also doing this because they don't necessarily want to be on a team with Rose. So they do. Dorothy and Blanche team up with 2 guys. And Rose and Sophia are on another team. And I quite like this. I like that we have both teams. So either way, 2 of them are going to win. But which 2? I love the descriptions of the contestants. The host went around and gave descriptions of them all, which is, again, pretty classic for a game show. I say of this time, I don't watch game shows anymore. So I don't know if game shows are like this these days. But certainly in the 80s and 90s, they were very much like this. And really tremendous fun. And then the questions start. And the questions are quite fast-paced, which I love. Honestly, I'm not a fan of slow-paced trivia games. Who Wants to Be a Millionaire drives me crazy because it takes forever. But things like this, really entertaining. And one of the questions was, who is the current Secretary of State? And Willard, who is on Dorothy and Blanche's team, said Charles Schultz. And I didn't know who the current Secretary of State was, but I knew it wasn't Charles Schultz who created Peanuts. Apparently it was George Schultz. So I will now hopefully remember that. I learned some stuff and it's really entertaining. And then one of the questions is, finish the phrase, better late than, to which Blanche replies, pregnant. Fair enough, but that's not the right answer. And ultimately, Sophia and Rose end up doing really, really well. But Blanche and Dorothy's team get to spin the wheel. And they land on Grab That Dough. And Dorothy plays, and it lasted a couple of seconds, but I really enjoyed it. She goes inside this tube, probably not great if you're claustrophobic. The money tumbles down, and she has to grab them, and she has to grab at least $500. And she does. I think she grabs $900. They're $100 bills, and she grabs, I think, $900. And they win, so they get to choose a window. And they pick window 3. And this was so nostalgic to me from game shows like this where people would win really ridiculous, well, often ridiculous prizes that nobody wants. And then there'd also be the luxury prize that people very seldom won. And that's the case here. They could have won a brand new living room set. They could have won a car that was worth, I think, $24,000, $20-something thousand. Definitely not how much it would cost today if it were a brand new car like that. And they ended up winning an electric skillet. Now, what I will say is they didn't really think this through when they decided to team up with 2 other people. Because how are they going to split the skillet? However, they also got a lifetime supply of soup. So they can definitely split that. Definitely not the way they wanted things to go. And it's not what they expected to win. Rose and Blanche did go away with, Rose and Sophia rather did go away with some money. So not a bad day. And as always, they had a lovely day out. And it was a nice episode. It was really good fun. I enjoyed the quiz part of it. I loved the character descriptions. I enjoyed Rose and Sophia on their team together. And we had some great answers. And I really liked it. The only issue I have, and it's not really an issue, is the pacing at the beginning. The whole thing with the rooms not being there, and then something with their luggage and their purses, and it was really slow padding that didn't need to be there, and we could have taken those couple of minutes and got more out of the quiz, maybe another round or a couple more questions. But aside from that, I thought it was pretty good, really good fun, needless to say, I thought Grab That Dough was a pretty entertaining episode of The Golden Girls. And if you haven't seen it, definitely recommend watching it. Really good fun.